Are we live? We're
All right,
live.
now we're live. We have 15 viewers.
Yay!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Grisha series live show on my channel. Let's introduce everyone. Start with Kayla.
Alright, I'm Kayla. My channel's Bookadoodles. Hey!
I'm Annabelle. My channel's in the book corner. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kat. My channel is Katie-tastic.
Awesome. We are missing one person, Geraldine from Starion.
72.
Uh-oh, did Cassidy freeze?
Oh no.
Can you see me? Am I okay?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. Hopefully Geraldine can join later. But we are talking about the Grisha series.
Yes.
First book is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. And we're pretty much going to talk about all spoilers, but we're going to try to go book by book so as to not spoil future books if you haven't read them. And I guess I should kind of say a summary of Shadow and Bone, maybe, but if you should be here only if you've read it.
Yeah.
Probably know what it's about. But as a refresher, it's about a girl named Leigh is an orphan, and she's lived in an orphanage through. So now they've grown up together and they've become really, really close friends, and they've joined the army in this fantasy world. And then they have to go on this special mission to cross the Fold, which is this area.
Oh no.
Cass.
She has a special magical power and has to go join the Grisha. And she is separated from Mal and goes on a crazy journey. Anyone else want to add anything?
I'm like, that sounds good.
That's good.
It's so hard to explain this book.
First book, yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the series goes in so many different, bigger directions, but we don't want to spoil the rest of the books.
Yeah.
But I think we all really enjoyed this series, huh?
I did. Yes, I love it.
Did you
Yeah.
do ratings for it?
I gave the first book 4 out of 5 stars, but I think that's because I'm really picky which books I give 5 stars to. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5, but I loved it. I loved it so much.
I think the only book that
Yeah.
I gave 5 stars was the second book. The rest of them got 4. So I loved it.
Okay.
I had some issues, but we'll talk about that later.
I gave them all 5.
You're like all 5 stars, all of the stars.
And I gave them all 4, except the second one was probably my favorite. Like, that's like a 4.5, because it was
Yeah.
my favorite, yeah.
Yeah, I really love the second one.
Yeah.
Although I will get into stuff later about the second one.
You okay there?
Yeah, sorry. My iPad almost fell on the floor. Alright, anyway.
Great introductory book to the series.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It's just such a cool world. Like, the
Yeah.
world is so awesome, and, like, nothing I've really read before.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Actually, I wanted to talk about how can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, in the books where it says like before and after,
Mm-hmm.
like the way that it was written during those parts kind of reminded me of Daughter and Smoke and Bone. Like it had that feel towards it. So I really loved it because I love that series. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Daughter of Smoke and Bone is amazing, and the flashbacks are similar to that.
Yeah.
I love that series.
I feel like the whole Grisha series kind of had a similar feel to Daughter of Smoke and Bone, since it is so like otherworldly and kind of epic. Like I do think Daughter of
Yeah.
Smoke and Bone is more epic, but it's epic too.
Yeah, they did have that epic feel, and I felt like the writing also was really like intense, I guess, at some points, and yeah, it just made me feel like a bunch of feels. So
like the writing, even if I didn't really care for a character, I still like sympathized with them. Like that's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Emotion. All right, let's see here. Okay, do you guys want to talk about the characters in the first book? Like, you know, the main characters and
Are we going to
such.
be talking spoilers for this first book?
Um,
Is it time for spoilers for
Yeah.
book one?
it might be. It just might be.
Spoilers for book one.
Okay, spoilers for book one. We're not going to spoil the rest of the books, but this one we will.
Yeah.
So who is your favorite character
That's hard.
of book one?
The Darkling. The Darkling.
Okay, of book one, the
It's
Darkling,
one.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Darkling was the most interesting character. And not only like in the first book, but I feel like in a lot of YA books, he was just such an interesting character and like unique. I loved reading about him.
Yeah, I completely agree. He was
Yeah.
so compelling, his story. Like, I didn't know a lot about this series going in, so I had no idea that he was actually kind of a bad guy. So when I read that, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, no, she's lying to Alina. Like, no, he's not. Okay, really good, right? He's not bad, but
Yeah, when that happened, you're talking about the part where like his mom. Can I say that? That's a huge spoiler. Yeah. Well, his mom told her that he's like the Darkling from
the original Darkling, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I was not expecting that at all. I'm like, dude, you're old.
I was so mad because they just had that like really good makeout scene.
Yeah.
Like, I need more, and it's not gonna happen.
I was like, crap, no, now they can't because he's just evil.
Yeah, the first book I was just like, oh my god, Team Darkling, like, how could you be any other team, you know?
Yeah.
I was like,
Who's
Darkling
this
is,
Mal guy? Like,
I looked forward to all of the scenes with him. Like, I was like, couldn't wait for him to come back.
Yeah, he like lit up the page, and him and Alina had such great chemistry together.
Yes.
Like, it was just so fun to read their scenes together.
Yeah, I feel like every scene with them was really intense. Like, I was kind of waiting for him to show up because I knew it was going to be like an intense scene.
I just loved like the parallel of light and dark. Like, she's the sun summoner and he's the Darkling. They went so well together, but also clashing because they're opposites.
Yeah, like I was rooting for them. I was rooting for him to probably till like the second book, and then after the second book, I was like, can't root for you anymore. I'm sorry.
I know, after they made the revelation at the end with his mom, I was like, that's either it's not true or there's some other reasoning. You know, I was like, there's got to be something more to it because I've already invested so many emotions in him. This can't be right.
Leigh Bardugo, how could you do this to us?
And she did it a couple of times throughout the trilogy. I'm not gonna mention things right now, but
I know. And like I kept tweeting, you know, Team Darkling, Team Darkling, Team Darkling. Then I was like, maybe not.
You're like, I take it back.
See, I was mostly Team Darkling throughout the series. Like, not necessarily, like, only Team Darkling, yes, for sure, but I still liked him throughout. And, like, I was still kind of rooting for him in some ways that I'm going to speak about right now.
Yeah, I was also rooting for him in some way.
Yeah, after that, I kind of just became neutral with the team thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read it and see what happens.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel like, can I say, I don't know if I could say things or not, but the three guys from the series, I kind of loved every single one of them, and I couldn't choose. At a point, I was just like, every time any of them, there was a scene with any of them, I loved every single scene, so yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I was kind of like, I like all of them for different reasons.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
How did you guys feel about Mal at the end of the first book?
I know Kayla wants to talk about this. I feel like Kayla, you don't really like him, do you?
Not really, because I don't.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not a Mal.
Really? I love Mal so much.
He reminds me of
He
Gale
had some
from the
great
Hunger
quotes.
Games. Because he was there, like, pre-book and, like, had a relationship established with her. And because of the chemistry that was brought forth with the Darkling, and then they switched to Mal, it made Mal seem kind of boring and not, like, holding her back from her true power and stuff like that. So, I'm not a Mal person. No.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I wasn't drawn to Mal in the beginning because he seemed like her friend, but he was also kind of dismissive of her, and like she had a crush on him, and he was going off with other girls, and it like at least in the Hunger Games series, like Gal and Katniss have this close relationship. You can kind of feel for that a little bit, but I just didn't really see their friendship or like her attachment to him. And then we get the Darkling, and his scenes are so intense, and he's so compelling. And I'm like, Mal, you can just go away. Just stay gone.
I agree.
Yeah. I was feeling that through reading it, but then I went on Tumblr and I was looking up
But then I went on Tumblr. Changed your whole view.
And they said they had a bunch of like Mal quotes, and I was like, wow, that's a really awesome quote. I didn't even pick up on that in the book for some reason. And I was like, oh, I don't know. He's okay, but I definitely felt more intensity with the Darkling.
Yeah.
Can I talk about Mal? Because I want to like defend him in a way or something.
Yeah.
Because I love him, and I know that some people like feel the same way. Well, a lot of people feel the same way that you guys feel, but I did love him. Like at a point, I think I didn't want to because the Darkling was there, but I did love him anyways. I think it was at the beginning of the book, that first time that they're like crossing the fold for the first time. And, you know, they were, like, all really scared and stuff. And they're, like, about to die right in the beginning. I'm not, like, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, when she used powers for the first time, right?
Yeah. And it's, like, right before that. I forgot what was it. Hold on. I have it here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, there's like on page 33, he says like, I'll meet you in the meadow, and like they're about to die, and I think that's the first time my eyes started getting watery, and I was on page like 33, and I was like, crap. I was like, this is so good. But I don't know, I really loved him. And like there were some times during like, I think during book 2 was, I didn't really like him sometimes during book 2, especially like towards the end. I was kind of annoyed with him, but I love him, so I love them all.
Yeah, I mean, I did grow. He did grow on me a little bit by the end of book 3, but yeah, book 2, I was still like, Mal, stop, go away. But by book 3, like, I did start to warm up to him. I still preferred the other two sort of like characters, but I didn't hate him.
The thing about Mal is that I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Mal.
I don't know either. Like
Mal.
Mal. Well, the thing about him is, I feel like he was the most loyal one, like towards her. Like, is that just me? But I felt like he was always there for her, like no matter what.
Yeah.
And
like he didn't have ulterior motives. It was just about Alina.
Yeah, like especially in the third book, I think there were a lot of quotes of him just telling her that, you know, like he's gonna be there, like if she has her powers or if she doesn't. And like I don't know, I feel like he was the most loyal for her. So
I got that in the third book, but in the first one, like he didn't even write back to her, and like saw her, he was like kind of dismissive of her, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? You're her only friend.
And also,
the world.
Yeah, and in the first book too, I get what you mean, because in the first book he was he didn't like her powers. He was just like, you know, I feel like you're changing, and like I don't like this. So I get you.
I mean, he did come around in the end of the first book, and like he was helping her, and like they were traveling together. Like he left the army to be with her, kind of, and to like her mission. But still, the beginning parts just like kind of turned me off on him, and he had to work hard to redeem himself.
Yeah.
I might like Mal more if we didn't have like the other two in the series. But I just felt that they were more like interesting.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I mean, it does make sense because Mal is like the boy she grew up with, and he doesn't have any special ability,
anything,
anything. But it's kind of nice that he's like the normal, like he grounds her kind of, which is both a good and a bad thing. Because like what Kayla said is he was kind of holding her back,
a
little bit, but I don't know. I can't really continue this thought because it'll spoil the rest of the series.
Yeah, we're gonna like spoil the heck out of it.
Yep.
Okay, do you guys want to talk about like some other? How about Alina herself? Like, what did you guys think of her as a protagonist? Anyone?
I'm thinking.
I feel like I'm talking about someone else.
Kayla?
I didn't have a problem with her. I mean, I don't know.
You're like, she was cool.
Yeah, I don't really have.
Okay.
Well, in the first book, she was all about coming into her power and trying to train and everything. And I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of, I don't know, her personality, but we didn't really get to see her strength and everything until like the second and third book, and see more of her complex journey emotionally in the later books more than the first one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially like I think the second book, around the half of it, and the third book, I was just like, yes, like you're so badass. And yeah, when she started like using her powers and like putting her foot down, I was like, yes, girl.
Because she was so frustrated in the first book because she couldn't use her powers like on command.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting how like she started to hunger for more and more power. Like she was kind of exploring that territory between good and evil. I like really wanted her to cross it at some point.
But I feel like sometimes she was battling with it like really hard. Like I think there was a point, I don't remember when, but she was just kind of like that she's gonna let like the darkness like take her, and I don't know what, but I was like, oh, okay, you're getting crazy on me.
Yeah, like in retrospect, maybe like I feel like the Darkling was the same way. Like he was kind of caught between the good and evil, and he was so old and like had already done so much stuff. Like he was leaning more toward evil, and like maybe him and Alina could balance each other out, but maybe not.
Yeah, there were a lot of quotes on that.
Risky. Like they had such great chemistry, but it was also a risky pairing because like, what if they get together and destroy the world?
There's a quote in the third book, but I guess we can't talk about that. But when they talked about being like an apt pupil, I was like, I just love that. I don't know why.
But for Alina in the first book, I was not like strongly pro or like strongly against her. Like she was a good protagonist and I liked seeing her journey, but I wasn't like super attached to her until later in the series. Like she does like start her journey in this one, but throughout the whole series, her character arc, she has such a cool story. Like she goes through so much and changes so much, and like I liked the overall more than just in book one.
Yeah.
Same.
I really like the descriptions in this book. Like, I like it when books really explain how people look, so then you can get a really good idea in your head, and I feel like this book did a really good job with that.
That's true.
Especially explaining Alina.
Yeah.
She always talked about how she looked.
Yeah, because she changed, like, throughout the series, especially, like, her hair and stuff. Yeah. Is that a spoiler for a book?
In the first book was when she did the presentation with the Darkling, right?
Oh, yes. That was right when Mal got there. He was pissed.
Yeah, and he saw it and he was all mad.
Yeah. That's when that happened.
What did y'all want?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was just going to ask if y'all wanted her to wear the black robe or the blue one.
I wanted her to wear black.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I did. I was like, stop being so stubborn, girl. Wear the black.
Yeah. Or what are those called? Kaftas?
The cactus or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, what I thought was really cool was I can't even pronounce like anything from this book. Is that just me? But I can't. But like,
No.
I can relate. I can relate.
these people, like the corporalki and the, you know them. I thought it was really cool. I tried explaining this book to my best friend one day, and honestly, like I had the hardest time ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of all of them, and like, you know, they all have like these powers and stuff. It was really cool to like read about them.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you
I
guys
feel like everything was
Avatar?
easy.
The Last Airbender?
I'm obsessed with it.
Avatar?
A little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, I'm obsessed with that series.
Yeah, I love the attention to detail in the world building. Like we have all these different like magic factions kind of, and they all have different characteristics. I loved the Grisha as a whole. Like it was such a cool concept.
Yeah. I'm glad that she's doing that new series in like the Grisha world, so we get more of it.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that.
What?
What?
You didn't know? Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know? Yeah, she is.
I think it's called the Dregs or something like that. Dregs. I'm pretty
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah, look it up on Goodreads. On Goodreads, it sounds really cool. Kind of
Yeah.
like what is it that it's called, that movie Ocean's 11?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned like Ocean's 11 or something. It's like this group of people, and I don't know, but it sounded cool, so I can't wait.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have to read this book.
Yeah. I'm glad I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because I just love the world. Like I thought it was so creative and so
Yeah.
well developed, and I love the maps at the beginning of the story.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions and comments? I haven't been looking.
Let's see. I have the little comment tracker up here, and I see one from freaking Hate Gale 45. Says,
Yeah.
Freaking hate Gail.
Love that username.
What?
So, would you fit in well with the Grisha? Ooh, and what like camp would you be in?
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's a good question.
This is so exciting. I didn't think about this, but now I'm thinking about it.
Ooh. I don't want to do what Genya can do. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes too long to get ready in the morning, okay?
Like, I think that the Corporalki are, like, so badass, you know, that they can, like, either kill you or heal you. But I feel like that is just so, like, that's too much responsibility for me.
I'd kind of want to be a healer.
A healer?
Yeah.
You look like the type.
Well, and I'm planning to go to pharmacy school, so medicine.
Okay.
You see? Yeah.
I think I would want one of the like elemental powers, like the Squallers, Inferni, Tide Makers. Those are the Avatar powers.
But they have to work so hard, like on the boats and stuff. They have to like keep all the air or airships, whatever they are, and they kill themselves like trying to fly the things.
Maybe an Inferni. Like, I think fire is cool, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I can just picture like water bending happening on the ships and stuff. It's such a good comparison. They probably make the same moves and everything.
Oh my god. Okay. Do you guys want to like continue talking about this one or the next one?
Oh, I have a question for you guys. Did you have any issues with this book? Like, what did you not like about the first book? Was there anything?
Let's see. I don't know. Like, there's not anything that I can think right now that I can pinpoint. Like, I didn't like it. But I don't know. What about you guys?
It was kind of slow paced, but at the same time, I read it in one night, in like one sitting. So.
Oh, yeah, I
bother
remember
me.
you did that. I remember. It took me like a couple of days, and then Cass was like, I finished. I'm like, what?
I'm like, I'm starting it. I finished.
I'm like, you started it last night.
I think I read each of these in one day. Like, since I was doing the booktubeathon, I was just like,
oh, yeah.
on and through them.
Yeah.
I read them pretty fast too. Like it's like kind of blending together a little bit, the series. So like,
Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
the second and the third for me, I read during the booktubeathon, so they're kind of like right there.
But I have one thing in this first book that confused me a little bit that I couldn't like really wrap my head around, and that was about the amplifier. Like, Alina chooses not to kill the stag, and
Right.
like the Darkling kills it and uses the amplifier on her. Then he's kind of controlling her until she kind of realizes that because she chose not to kill it, she was the one kind of in control of its life, and he doesn't control her. Like, I didn't get why he could control her even a little bit. Like, was it just her believing he could that let him? I don't know. That part didn't quite add up to me.
I feel like maybe it was, I feel like, isn't it with the amplifiers, like, whoever kills the amplifier controls it, like, no matter on, like, who, like, on who it is. But then I feel like towards the end, since she, like, spared its life, she felt, like, a connection towards the, what's it called? What was it actually called?
Was it a stag, I think?
Yeah, okay, because I just like think of antlers. I'm like, you know, the deer or something she killed. Anyways, but so yeah, I don't know. I guess I see like it is kind of confusing, especially because later on, like with the other like amplifiers, it gets kind of confusing. Does she?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil, so I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that part was like kind of unclear to me too. I thought like it could have been like more, like there's could have been more explanation. I thought maybe it was too easy a little bit. I don't know.
Like I feel like from the beginning she should have had full control of her powers. Like because if she was the one in control of the life, like it doesn't matter what she thought. Like she was still the one in control. So the dark, like, being able to manipulate her powers even for a short time was just like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah, I also feel like towards the beginning she was really like insecure about herself and like her ability with the powers. So and usually like she would be awesome with like her powers like right at the moment when the darkening's there and like she's about to die, and then that's when it kind of like hits her and she gets crazy. And yeah, so I feel like she's always insecure about her powers until like the moment of truth or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you guys want to go into the second book? Or
yeah, move on. Second book.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fave.
Do we all agree this is like our favorite?
Yes. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It is. It is so good. Oh god.
All the covers are so gorgeous for this series.
I know.
Yeah. They
I'm
really
so glad
are.
they didn't do like a serious cover change.
Yeah, that would have killed me.
They kind of changed the first book to the paperback. It's a little bit different, but
Oh, it's like purple, right?
yeah, but
Purple hue.
it's not serious, so.
Yeah, it still doesn't, like I like. Okay, we're spoiling the second book now, right?
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers for the second.
Mention all the amplifiers in the second book, so I love how they're on the covers. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
And the serpent here and the Firebird on the last one.
Yeah.
So cool. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize the antlers on the first one until I was doing my video review, and I was like, whoa, it has antlers. That's the amplifier.
Light bulb.
But yeah, and then I was like, they're amazing.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I'm just like looking at it like
like all staring at it.
So I think
Anyway.
we both agree that Nikolai is just awesome.
I think we can. I think we can. I mean, can we talk about who we didn't know, like that Nikolai was Nikolai
Yeah.
and he was Stormhound?
Stormhound.
Stormhound?
Yeah.
I call him Stormhound. I don't
Me
know.
too.
But yeah, even when he was Stormhound, like he came in the picture and I was just kind of like, okay, who are you? And I was like, you're a little weird. And then like he kept coming in more and he was always kind of like protecting her. And I'm like, you're cool. And like he was really funny. He's just the funniest. I love him.
Yeah. The first half of the book was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with them being on the ship and everything.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think the whole time I was kind of thinking of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like awesome and the action was cool and it was funny. Like I remember reading this like I think it was like 1 a.m. and I'm laughing my ass off. I'm just like laughing so hard by myself out loud. It was just so funny and like great and cool.
Yeah, it really starts off with a bang too. Like she gets recaptured by the Darkling in like the first or second chapter. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing it.
We're doing it.
That's one thing that I really loved about this series is that each book kind of stands alone. Like you don't end on a huge cliffhanger. Like you end in kind of a nice place where like each book has its own complete arc, and I really appreciated that. I wasn't like this could be one big book. Like no, they need 3 separate books, and it worked that way.
Yeah. It was really cool. I have here, can we talk about Toya and the twins?
Oh yeah.
Toya and Tamar. I love them. They're so badass. I think it was like around like page 60. I have like 67 here. It's at the first time when like the Darklings people and the people from Sturmhound like they start fighting. And like Toya and Tamar just start like with their powers and I'm like, oh my god, like they're freaking corporalky. I was like so badass. It was so good.
Yeah, they were really, really cool. And I liked their character arc too throughout the series. Not to spoil the third one, but
not to spoil anything.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I just like how she can introduce characters in like each book and we care about them like instantly. Like we didn't have to form an attachment to them in the first book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
Really cool.
Yeah, I feel like all of these characters were just like so good and none of them were like irrelevant. Yeah, I feel like they all needed to be there and they all played with the story, so.
I was surprised, like, this is at the end of the second book that we find out that, like, they were a part of the religion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her following, right?
Yeah. I was like, wow. I did not expect that. Like, I was actually really surprised.
Yeah, me too.
I really loved Genya too.
Yes.
Yes, Genya.
Mm.
I actually, Kayla's like, I read the 1.5 book, the one after Shadow and Bone, that it's like a short story on her.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't read that.
Yeah, it's a short story. It's the only novella that I read from this series, and it's like a short story on her, and I think there's a scene there with her and like the Darkling and stuff, and it kind of explained her a little more. So I liked her after that. I didn't like her after some things, when she what she did to Alina and she kind of betrayed her and stuff. But I felt so bad for her like later on, the whole thing with what was it they did to her? What was it the Darkling did to her?
He like tortured her and disfigured her and
like her face
her
or
one eye or something. Yeah.
All right, yeah, she had the patch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt so bad. And then there was like her love story with what's his face? David.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't know, I thought it was cute. Like even the side characters were so cool. So, yeah.
And like you said, they're all important and all served a purpose.
Yes.
they were also well developed. Like I even so many characters just got introduced in this book. Like Nikolai, I'm so attached to him, and we didn't have him for the first third of the series. So
Yeah.
they're just you form attachments to these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the best parts about the series, I think.
You guys want to talk about Nick?
Nick.
Nick, you know.
I liked him as a character, and I thought he was really interesting, but I never really shipped them together.
I
see
shipped their
what you mean.
friendship. Like I loved the friendship and like the banter and like.
Yes, I think the banter was like the best part of them.
And he always had like really good one-liners and like it reminds
Impossible.
me of yeah.
What is that one line that they kept saying to each other over and over again? I have it around here. Oh, where he kind of told her like, "Oh, I love it when you quote me."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like the cutest thing. And I don't know, he's just so funny. I think he's hilarious. So.
Yeah.
And like cocky, but not really. And yeah, he's just great.
Have any of you guys read the Lunar Chronicles?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, the first two.
He reminded me of Thorn a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he also has like that Captain Jack Sparrow like swag.
Yeah. That's what I thought so too. Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah.
He was really interesting how he could like change personalities so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was he? He was a prince. He was like, yeah, the pirate. And Alina would be like, you know, like, who are you now? Like, can I even trust you?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, trust me. And I was like,
he's like, marry me.
Oh my God, yes. Who was it that asked her, like, oh, has he asked you to marry him yet? And she's like, yeah.
And then also his brother.
Yeah.
Right. His brother.
Ruined everything.
That says, do you guys
Big brother.
think I actually loved Alina, or was it just politically motivated?
I feel like he did love her, but I feel like he wasn't in love with her, if that makes sense. Like, because, you know, I can't, because then I'm going to spoil the last book. But, yeah, I feel like he did care about her, but maybe more as, like, a friendship thing. Because, you know, he kept telling her, like, come be my queen. Like, with you, I'll be able, you know, like, I can't even explain it. I don't know.
Yeah. But at the same time, maybe he had feelings for her because he said to her that I don't want to kiss you again until you're thinking of me and not of Mal. So, like, I felt like he was kind of hurt in a way, a little bit. I don't know.
Like, and he wanted her feelings for him to be real. I feel like he did have feelings for her, and there was a little bit of political motivation, but he also truly cared about her and knew he could be happy with her and that they would do well together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they could fall in love. Like, they could be in real love later on, even if it wasn't right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he actually did tell her that, like, that exact same thing, right? Yeah.
Very interesting.
I loved Nikolai in this book, and I loved him and Alina together. Like, I shipped it so hard. In this book, like, the Darkling was being evil, and I was like, okay, that's not going to work out. And Mal was being a total jerk, and I was like,
yeah, he was.
Out. Like,
yeah, I was. I loved him so much. I think I enjoyed this book so much because of his character. Like, he definitely made the book a 5 out of 5 for me. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, you know, thinking about Nikolai.
Yeah.
The huge. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, can we talk about the Darkling? And like, I feel he was like so intense, but like also very sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just me? But like, he would say some things, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Or like, he would tell Mal some things to like provoke him about like, oh, like, did you tell him, what was that line? He was like, did you tell him what I did to you in the dark or something like that? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that to him. I loved it.
Yeah, they definitely had the best, like, sexual tension, her and the Darkling,
Definitely.
out of all three of them.
Yeah, and like all the time when it was in this book where right? Was it? Yeah, it was in this book where he started like to come to her in the black shadow thing.
Yeah. And she thought it was Al, and it wasn't
yeah, we only saw him in the dreams, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like he would come to her bedroom and stuff, and I'm just like, and he's like, it's not real, like I'm not really here, so what does it matter? And I'm just like, oh my God. And at one point I'm like, girl, it doesn't matter, he's not there. But then like my good side was just like, don't touch him.
No, I was just totally like, kiss him. Do
it. Just do it.
I was like, you're...
Go ahead.
And then, like, at the end, when he just pretty much kills everyone, I'm like, you're not redeemable. Like, I don't understand. You're ruining everything.
When he killed the whole, like, village or city or something, I'm like, that is it, dude. Like, I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
I was so conflicted with my feelings toward him because, like, I liked him and I wanted to keep liking him. And, like, he would have these little moments where it's like, oh, you're kind of redeeming yourself. And then he would backtrack, and I'm just like, I can't continue to like you, but I still kind of do. What is happening?
Yeah. And then, of course, he does...
I want to talk about something...
Sorry, go ahead, Cass.
Wait, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I was saying, I want to talk about something, but I don't know if it's in this book or the next one.
Which one? Give us some clues.
His name?
I think that's the last book.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't listen to me.
The Darkling's name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the last book, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I forgot his name. Oh, no, I remember.
Should we move on?
So quickly. Okay, I guess.
Are there any other things I want to say? I will say that as much as I love this book and it was my favorite, I got kind of bored in the, like, right after the halfway point because they were just talking about war strategy, kind of.
Yeah.
For a large chunk of it, and I was like, okay, can something just happen? We're just talking about plans.
Yeah. I feel like that happened with this one, and if we're gonna go into this one, I feel like the beginning of this one was also kind of slow for me.
Yeah.
I feel like the end of this one had a big bang at it because, like, we're just sitting around having dinner, and Nikolai's brother really messed up, and now everyone is dying.
Yeah. The ending was definitely great, but it was just like the point between the half and the ending was a little boring.
Yeah. But the ending of this one, that was crazy when the Darkling like came out. I totally forgot how this ended for a moment. But yeah, when he came with like all of his like dark army, and I'm just like, oh my God, he's gonna kill them all.
I know, and then when I don't even completely understand what she did whenever she took control of his creatures.
Yeah, she was control of his power since they had been linked, and then...
That's when she touched him, right, at the church?
Yeah, at the end of the church. Because she was trying to, like, buy time for everyone else to get away. And she was, like, going to take him down with her.
Yeah. How did she get those powers, though? Like... They were what, connected?
Like, they were connected through... I don't know. See, this is, like, part of the...
I don't know.
exactly how it works. I feel like it had to do with, like, the amplifier, since, like, he had kind of taken control of her power. Like, she could kind of do the reverse and, like, gain control of his creature.
Right, yes.
Yeah, they were connected somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of worried there for a second because she was, about to die along with him. I was like, oh my God, I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I know she's got to survive, but I don't know. It looked pretty sketchy there for a second.
You're like, anything can happen. She's about to die.
I know. I feel like no one is safe in this series. Like,
yeah.
Died when Nikolai's brother and parents were just brutally murdered. Oh my gosh, what's happening?
And then I was like, oh great, I forget his name, but like the religious leader guy.
Okay, yeah, the creep.
Yeah, that guy.
Like when he like saves the day at the end or whatever, and like takes them to the caves and stuff. I was like, oh, out of the frying pan into the fire. Like, how is this any better?
Yeah.
Like, and I never trusted him, so I was like,
Yeah, he was always sketchy.
Yeah.
He was, and she kept talking about how he smelled. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, like I picture him so like creepy and like in a
Mhm.
long robe and like old and sickly or something.
Mhm.
He was so creepy to me.
Do you guys have any fan casts for characters in this series? Like, do you picture any actors as certain ones?
Well, anybody that has any guy that has dark hair and light eyes, I always picture as Ian Somerhalder.
Any guy.
That's what I thought.
He's
That's
like
so
my
funny.
favorite person. So
When I went on Tumblr and I went on the tag and they have like a bunch of people there who are also like really good and the guys were so hot. I was like, yeah. But I don't have anyone like an actor in mind.
Yeah.
no, Ian
I
Somerhalder's.
with anyone for Alina. Like, I have no idea who
Yeah.
I would cast as Alina.
I think it's hard
Yeah.
because she changes her appearance so much. Like, it's hard to, like, form a solid picture in my head
And
about
plus,
her.
all the actresses you can think of are usually kind of gorgeous, and she always described herself as being not very attractive.
Yeah, like kind of plain.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was it? I have a question. When her hair turned blonde, when did that happen? I don't know if I forgot or I feel like when I read it, I didn't notice it or.
Well, it was after her ordeal with the Darkling at the end of the second book. I don't know if they mentioned the blonde hair until the beginning of the third one or at the end of the second one.
I think it's right at the end of the second.
And that's how, but that's what caused it, right?
I think so. Let me see. I feel like it's right at the very last page because she loses her powers too. Like right at the end of the second book.
Yeah, she's like, where are my powers?
Like she's drained completely and she's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
I liked how the kind of prologue and epilogues were from like third person.
Yeah. I feel like that's what reminded me of Daughter and Smoke and Bone.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I thought it was like really cool and otherworldly.
They really framed the story well too.
Yeah.
Like they did a nice sort of like they bookended the story nicely.
Yeah, like a nice beginning and end.
It was almost like someone else was like telling the story. Like you picture like in a movie, someone starts to tell a story, then like it flashes back, and then you watch the movie and stuff. I can't explain it.
No, I get you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I actually thought the whole book was going to be in third person. Like when I started reading it, I read the first part, and then I get to the actual chapter. I'm like, oh, this is in first person. We're in Alina's head. This is.
I haven't read a ton of YA fantasy, but most that I think I have read have been in third person.
Yeah.
Because I just read Throne of Glass, and that's third person.
Yeah.
This
That's
one,
all I
it gives you a wider like idea of the world and the characters if it's third person.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of fantasy is third person.
Yeah, you can
But-
like do like multiple perspectives, like better and stuff.
But this story was so focused on Alina, like we didn't really
Yeah.
necessarily need the other points of view. Like getting some Darkling or Nikolai chapters, I wouldn't be opposed to.
Definitely.
It worked well just following Alina.
Yeah, I mean, because she was kind of like the sun summoner, like she was the main.
It's her
focus.
story, like completely.
Okay, do you guys want to get into the third book?
All right, is it time?
No.
Time for book 3.
Look how beautiful it is.
It's so pretty. I love this series. I love when I have them like on my shelf. I have them next to like the Lunar Chronicles, and they just look so pretty.
And I love the chapter headings too. They're like so
those
cool.
set the tone so well.
Yeah, they're awesome. I feel like they're the most epic like chapter headings that I've seen.
I really appreciate the attention to detail in like the design of the book, like the cover and the chapter headings and just
And even like the page numbers.
I know.
Yeah.
They use. Like, come on, they did it beautifully. Oh, you guys have the collector's editions, Annabelle and Cassidy. Ooh.
I got both.
She has both.
I got mine off of Amazon, so.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of either of them.
But then I saw a signed collector's edition at Barnes & Noble. Like, I couldn't bring myself to buy it because I just bought this.
I would have bought that thing in 5 seconds. But But then
Yeah,
I
they're
got home
awesome.
and realized my collector's edition is all bent up.
Oh no. What is
Where?
about the collector's edition? Does it have like any bonus material or something?
Oh, actually, it has a Darkling story. You know that I haven't read it yet.
Oh, why
I
not?
read it.
I haven't read it because when I finished the series, I couldn't handle any more feels. And it was during book two-a-thon, and I was just like, I can't. I tried. I read like the first page, and I'm like, my heart is not even ready after the ending of this book. So now I actually remembered, so I might read it tonight after this. So yeah.
It was hard for me to read it with the ending of it because I was like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah,
Why
kind
go back
of.
in time and learn more about him? But I did, and it was interesting, and it made me be like, wow, I want to know more. Too bad.
Too bad. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was kind of like a bittersweet ending for me. And I didn't want to read about him at that point because, like, my heart for him was broken. So, spoilers. Spoiler.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers. If you haven't read this entire trilogy, you should go now.
Yeah.
Go.
Yep.
Oh, God.
I just
The
there was like a
ending.
turning point in this book. Like I did not see coming at all. Like when they invaded the mountaintop, I did not see it coming like so quickly.
The
And then-
midpoint. Just
And then it all went to hell, and I was just like, "What the hell just
Yeah.
happened?"
Yeah.
I remember, like, on Goodreads, I updated my status. I was like, WTF, because of what happens to Nikolai. I was like, what?
Oh, my God. I was so pissed.
I was so horrified. I was just, not my baby.
At that point, I think that was the point where I just said, screw the Darkling. Somebody kill him already. I was so pissed. I'm like, somebody kill that man, please. I can't stand him. I was so sad.
I know.
I can't believe he did that.
Like, I started crying whenever he was, like, trying to talk to her in, like, the ring. And I was like, he's trying to communicate.
I know.
So sad.
Or when, I love Bagra, though. Like, his mom's total badass when she's
Yes.
like, I've had enough of your shit.
Oh,
Like,
my gosh.
I love that quote. I forget what she exactly said, but she was like, know that I loved you, but know that it wasn't enough, or whatever.
Oh, my God. Like, right before she, like, killed herself, right?
Yeah, the feels.
Oh, I cried. I totally cried.
I mean,
She was so funny.
up until the midpoint, like, I still thought that the relationship could go in any direction. Like, I could see Alina and Mal getting together. I could see Alina and Nikolai getting together. And I could see the Darkling redeeming himself and somehow, like, even if they don't end up together, they end up on good terms.
Yeah.
And midpoint happened, and, like, Nikolai is gone. The Darkling has redemption. What is happening? Like, this just completely took a turn. There were so many twists in the whole series that just like flipped everything around. It kept surprising me. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Mal was the third amplifier.
Oh my God. That's
I kind of saw that coming, though.
Really?
Because every time she touched his hand, they would have, like, some weird spark, and they would be like, oh, let's not talk about it. And I'm like, he's probably the third amplifier.
I didn't think. I was just like, oh, their connection. That was just me. I'm like, sparks and everything, whatever. I flew by the words.
I mean, you see that in YA often enough that it could be not a paranormal thing. Like, it's just not when they touch.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, their connection, sparks and everything.
Maybe like her and the Darkling, but Mal.
But Mal. I thought it was so cool, though. Like, I was just like, oh my God, this keeps getting better and better. And I started laughing because, the Darkling was all like, oh, Ma, he's just human or whatever. And then when we found out he was the third one, I was like, what the F? And oh my gosh, that whole story with the Darkling, when Bagra was the one who told her the story, and about her father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was about her father, and then had her, and then like her sister, and then Alina was thinking that Ma was like the descendant from like the sister that died but didn't really, and all of it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god.
I know.
So
I was like, I need to draw out a family tree or something.
yeah. Yeah.
When we had that moment where Alina thought she was like related to the Darkling, for a second I was like,
Yes.
no,
Uh-huh.
no.
It's like we had enough
Why-
of City of Bones.
Why
Go
do
away.
authors
Go away.
love incest?
I don't know.
I actually thought they were gonna do that for a moment. I'm just like, oh my god, they're related.
Ugh.
It happens in so many books, though. Like,
Yeah.
authors
Yeah.
love doing that.
Yeah, I was like, crap, light and dark, that's it. They're brothers or something. Ah, so good.
So good.
I'm just like looking here, see what I find, because I like posted so many marks on it, but I think they were just like quotes, probably like mostly Nikolai.
I really liked when I can't how to say her name. The Darkling's mom.
Bagra?
Bagra.
Bagra?
I think, yeah.
Bagra.
Elena to like hit the mountain and like cut the top of it off.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
Yeah.
Like from so far away too. Like
Mhm.
it was miles away in the distance. Like she was really training Alina at that point.
Yeah, that was awesome. Then everyone came to like watch her.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys, when did you sort of know that Alina was going to end up with Mal? Or like, did you predict that? Did you see that coming?
honestly, I didn't like. I had no idea which way it was gonna go. But I mean, for me personally, since I liked Mal, I thought that it was the perfect ending because also like in the books it starts, the before and after start with like the boy and the girl, and I felt like it was just perfect to wrap the whole thing up with like both of them, but I still had no clue like which way she was gonna go. Like in my head all of them were gonna die, and I'm like, they're all gonna die, I have no idea what's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know, but I did imagine her with Nikolai too. I feel like that maybe could have happened.
Yeah. When Nikolai got taken over by the demon, whatever, I don't even know, I was like, well, I guess that ship has sailed. And as soon as, like, I don't know, as soon as Mal and Alina slept together, I was like, all right, well, that's probably it.
You're like, that's probably endgame.
Is My Little Bookshop or my Andrea, who her YouTube channel is, I think, My Yellow Little Bookshop or Little Yellow Bookshop, or to talk about how Zoya and Mal kissed.
Oh, yeah. No, they did more than kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did all their stuff.
They kissed right in front of her in book 2. And, like, that just made Mal, like, go down a peg. I was like,
Yeah.
Mal, what are you doing? But I don't know. That was one of the things that I didn't like about Mal, like, that made me question his loyalty to her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it when the male love interest is, like, more committed to the female, and Mal was, like, I don't know, kind of taking Alina's struggle too personally and, like, lashing out by hooking up with Zoya, which, I did like how Zoya kind of came around throughout the series and, like, became nicer and stopped being so petty, but I still wasn't a huge fan of her.
No.
I wasn't a huge fan of her either. I mean, it was cool at the end when, because, like, Alina's team, most of them died, so, like, probably, like, 3 or 4 were left, or, right? Like, there weren't any, what are they called? The peeps?
Yeah.
The Grisha. Yeah. I'm like, oh, right there. The Grisha, yeah. Like, there were only, like, 6 of them left or something. So I feel like she had to trust her and had to, like, trust most of them. So.
Like, kind of off topic about the Grisha, though, I was surprised at, like, the graphic content. Like, when, is it Sergei's body just got ripped apart in the air? Like, I was like, wow, that's kind of dark for a YA book, but
Hmm.
I don't know, like, speaking of the Grisha, do you think he betrayed them, or do you think that they tortured him for information?
I think he betrayed
I
them.
think he betrayed them, definitely, yeah.
He was having such a hard time. Like he wasn't expecting to see all this horrifying stuff, and then like Alina was like, "Yeah, you can go." I don't think, I don't think he intended, like he didn't set out like I'm gonna go straight to the Darkling and betray them. But
Yeah.
like when the Darkling came across him, he was like, "I'm gonna save myself by giving them up."
Uh,
Yeah, I think I agree with that, definitely. He was weird. I mean, I know the love of his life, like, died in front of him and
Yeah, he was having a hard time.
Yeah,
yeah.
he couldn't handle it. He
trustworthy.
couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the overall ending, did it, like, upset y'all? Did y'all not like it?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think? I know you guys didn't. I loved it, clearly.
That was my biggest issue, and it's not because I thought it was like a bad ending. Like for the story that Leigh Bardugo was trying to tell, like it wrapped everything up nicely. I just wish it went in a different direction. Like I wanted the Darkling to find some kind of redemption,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I kind of feel like Mal should have maybe stayed dead. Like I felt like it was a little too happily ever after to have him die and then just come right back to life. And while the Darkling dies, oh,
I know.
I think it was a little too cookie cutter. Like, I can't remember an important character that actually died except for Bagra, and that wasn't even at the end. So, like, I don't know. Not that I want death or anything, but I don't know. For a series as dark as this one, for like good and evil, people die. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I think Mal should have stayed dead.
Yeah.
I think he should
You guys
have.
are horrible.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
it was just a little too, like, really? He's coming back alive? Like,
yeah, like that was another one of those little things that didn't add up. Like, why is he coming back to life? Like, what happened there?
like, it's not that I wanted him to die in the first place, but then the fact that he did die, I just don't think he should have came back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why
Like, I
did he
didn't
come
want
back
him to
anyways?
die.
Was it because he was like special, or what was it? Why did he come back? Because he was an amplifier or something?
I think the explanation was kind of that when he died, it wasn't him actually dying. It was like the borrowed life of
The amplifier.
that was the amplifier side of
Oh,
him
okay.
died, and then
And he wasn't an amplifier anymore. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, with all the other amplifiers, like, they die and they're dead. So I feel like him coming back to life was just a little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could have seen it happening that, like, Mal stayed dead, and then she did end up ruling with Nikolai. Like, I could have saw that ending, too.
Yeah, that could have been another ending too.
Wait, I missed that. I didn't hear it. What'd you say, Kayla?
Oh, that, like, Mal could have stayed dead, and I could see her ruling with Nikolai. That could have been another
Yeah,
ending.
that could have been an interesting ending, too.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked that one better, but if that were to happen, we'd need
And it
different
wasn't necessarily... It was,
story. Like,
Yeah.
we need more Nikolai... Like, he gets turned back to human right at the very end. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have, like, any time to, like, kind of recuperate from that.
Mhm.
So I think we'd need more of that, like a nice long epilogue of her and Nick.
Yeah, a very long one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's scarred for life at this point. I mean, whew.
Poor boy.
but it is very interesting, though, that she just ended up living an ordinary life and died an ordinary girl after
I feel like
everything she
I
went through.
love that so much. Like the after part, and it was like her and him back where they grew up, and that they were like taking care of the house, the orphanage, and it'll show that like Nikolai and what's her name? Genja? Is that her name?
Yeah, they all.
Yeah, how they all would come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, and the people around were like, you know, like, who are these people? Like, why is the king coming to like see them? And I'm just like, oh, they're just like friends. They've been through so much together, and it was just awesome. I loved it. I was like, family.
I kind of wanted more for Alina.
Yeah, it made me tear up.
What do you say, Kat? That you wanted more for Alina?
More for her. Like, she lives this ordinary life, but she had just gone through so much character development and been on such a journey, and she grew so strong and confident. Like, she could have ruled with Nikolai, and like it would have been really good for the world, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, but there's also that thing at the end where the Darkling like dies. And I don't know. I feel like maybe they did that since he died and like the darkness wasn't there anymore. I felt like, with her, she couldn't have that power of like the Sun Summoner because the darkness wasn't there. So, I don't know. I'm just talking now.
Now there's all those other Sun Summoners. Like, now all these random people have.
Yeah, what was that? That was a little weird.
I just think
now everyone has power.
Yeah, I just think it would be hard to live an ordinary life after everything that she experienced. And I thought it was so sad when like he would catch her playing with the window light, like trying to like pretend to manipulate it. I was like, it's so sad.
I read a couple of reviews about this book where people were saying that it sent a bad message to women, saying that like you're not allowed to have more power than a man, sort of deal, because like she ended up being ordinary, and that's how she found love and a happy life, is when she wasn't powerful anymore.
Yeah, I can see that perspective, but I don't agree with it. Like,
yeah, I don't agree with it either, but I thought it was an interesting point.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I mean, I feel like, if she had ended up with Nikolai, like that would have completely gone against that. Like, now she has no power of like magical power, but she's the queen and she's the nation.
Yeah.
But I think that if the Darkling would have lived and she like wouldn't have been able to defeat him, then I can understand that point. But at least she was able to defeat like darkness and be powerful. And at the end of the day, when you're alive and they're dead, you're more powerful than they are. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
She got her peaceful retirement. Like, she saved the freaking world. Like, she's allowed to have her ordinary life and her happily ever after.
Her retirement.
I mean, it would have been cool if she still had her powers, or if she like went on to continue to do great things. But she did great things. Like, she's allowed to now.
And like, if you want to talk about like women and being strong and stuff, think about what happened to Genya and how Nikolai didn't let his father get away with anything. Like that part in the courtroom. I know that's like not the ending, but
yeah.
I mean, there are consequences, I guess you could say. But I love that scene, by the way. I was like,
yeah, it was really cool.
Do y'all wish that the Darkling could have lived?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that like I remember during the last book I'm just like kill him, and then when that scene came I was just like bawling, crying. I'm like no. I was like I wanted them to kill him, but now that it actually happened I regretted it. I was like no.
Have you guys read City of Heavenly Fire?
Yes.
Yes.
When he like said the name.
But I guess we shouldn't spoil it for people.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no! Wait. No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Well, okay. So the name thing, when he was like, when she called him Alexander, I was like, well, it like humanized him, and I feel like he should have had a chance to live a life as Alexandra and not like the Darkling.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I really wanted, was some kind of redemption for him.
Yeah.
Because this whole book, like, he's not a bad guy. Like, he's kind of bad, but he's not like pure evil. Like, he does have good and bad sides, and he's just making decisions with like what he's been faced, and sometimes they're not great decisions, but because I really want evil. Redemption for him so bad.
Yeah, especially when when Bagra told us a story about him like getting his powers, and like he wasn't evil when he was younger, so
especially when you read the prequel story, you kind of understand what's going on in his early life to make him like he is now. And you're like, okay, now I'm understanding him more. Well, too bad he's dead. Like, what's the point in understanding him more and be able to sympathize with him more? Maybe if the prequel story made him out to be evil.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like I would be okay with him dying still if he still had that redemption at the end. Like, maybe he sacrificed himself for the good, and like he redeemed himself in death, but he still redeemed himself. Like, he kind of died still a bad guy, and that made me sad.
Yeah.
That's true. I probably could. Yeah, I agree with you. I could have been okay with that. But yeah, he just died a bad guy.
Yeah. I just felt like he could have had such a better ending, and he didn't.
Yep. Oh, can we talk about that last part where when Alina like lost her powers and he saw that and he was just like, "You're nothing now. Like, what have you done?" I was like, "You never loved her." I'm like, all you wanted was her power. Like, I was kind of pissed at him too. I was like, that's kind of when I realized that, you know, that they wouldn't have been good together because without like her powers, he would have just seen her as like no one.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason it disappointed me, though. Like, I thought for sure he had feelings for, I don't know, like, I'm just conflicted about the Darklings.
Yeah, you feel conflicted.
I know. I'm so conflicted. Maybe we got some stories from his perspective throughout the series.
Yeah.
That might be good.
I just, like, if he was going to be made out to be a bad guy at the end, I wanted to see that earlier on. Like, not these thoughts of him caring for her and these thoughts of regret for what he did, but see him, like, not caring and not regretting. And I'd be like,
I know, like, why did he tell her his real name if he was truly evil?
Yeah.
It's like mixed messages about his character.
True.
Do we have any questions or comments on the video?
they say talk about the Darkling's name.
Alexander. I loved it. I mean, I love that name, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot to talk about his name. Like, it's very nice that he shares it with Alina, but what else is there to say?
I know.
You know, I'm excited to see, like, in her next series, I'm excited to see if we get to see, like, more of them, if we get to see Nikolai being king or something. I think that would be cool if Nikolai's in the next series, like, somehow.
That will be.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
I hope he is. I need more of him.
Yeah.
I would love if we got to see him get a happy ending. Like,
yeah.
Let's get that.
Yeah.
Do you think this could have been longer than a trilogy? If the ending was different?
If the ending was different.
Yeah, if it was different, there could have been, like, other books.
Especially if she ended up with Nikolai ruling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been longer that way.
But I feel like this, like, stood on its own because each book was about each amplifier, so there would have to be maybe more amplifiers in order to, like, frame a longer series or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I actually think this was perfect as a trilogy. Like, some trilogies, it's like, that could have been one book. And some like, that could have been a lot more books. But this one just worked so well as 3 books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's definitely enough world to write more, but apparently we're getting more in the world, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. When is that even coming out? Probably.
I have it on Goodreads right now.
It says
2015. So sometimes
okay.
it doesn't have like a month or anything, but
that's awesome though. That's pretty fast for like coming up with a new series and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but yeah. Spin-off, I guess. But not really.
Is a new series or a standalone? Oh, it says The Dregs #1. It's a new series.
Yeah, I heard it's only 2 books. I heard it's gonna be a duology, but don't quote me. I'm not sure.
I actually met Leigh Bardugo at a signing and got her to sign my first 2 books.
You did?
Awesome.
It sucks because I hadn't read the series whenever I met her, so I was just like,
oh, okay.
I was like, can you just sign my books? Like, I don't know anything about it, just sign them. Now I can meet her after I read them.
Sorry guys, I'm having trouble here.
Difficulties.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here's an interesting question. Another one from Freakin' Hate Gale. What kind reader do you recommend this series to?
Kind of reader?
Yeah, like who would you recommend this series to?
I mean, I would say like fantasy, obviously, but also I feel like anyone would enjoy this series. I feel like it has elements of everything in it, like the action, the romance. Maybe if you just read contemporary, I would still recommend this. I think that, people love the romance aspect also.
Yeah.
I think it's a good intro into YA fantasy. I had a friend, Maddie, who has a YouTube channel, but this is like her first fantasy series that she ever read, and she was kind of worried, am I going to be able to understand it and all of that. But she said it was a really great introduction into fantasy, even since she hadn't read any.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a nice, like, the Throne of Glass series I love, but that one can get a little bit complicated with the fantasy world, since, like, it's a much massive and, like, kind of more complex world, and this one is just really accessible. So, yeah, it's a very good intro for, like, new fantasy readers.
I think it's also a good gateway to like high fantasy because there's a lot of made-up words and a whole made-up world, obviously. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. But I think the first-person point of view makes it really accessible because you're just following like the one main character and seeing her story and kind of learning about the world through her. So
yeah, that's very true. I've had a couple of people tell me either through Twitter or comments saying that they have a hard time reading books that are in third person because they can't connect to the characters, and they have a hard time with fantasy because of that. And so I think this makes, like you said, it more accessible because it's first person.
Yeah, I agree.
also, it's a good series for people who want to get very attached to characters, and good series for people who want to be surprised, because definitely some shocking plot twists in this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've also had some people though say they did not like this series at all because it was like really slow and they just couldn't get into it.
I didn't feel like it was slow at all, though. I think that, I do think that the chapters were really long. Yeah. Was that just me? I feel like especially like chapter 1 and all of the books were like at least like 20, 30 pages long. Yeah. But I didn't think it was slow at all.
Yeah, there were some slow bits, but overall, a lot happened in each book.
I know.
Yeah.
I agree about the long chapters though, and then like it was like sometimes it would be shorter than others. I like consistent chapter length, but
yeah,
I guess they could get long that way. But I didn't think there was any real slow parts or anything. Something always happened to like keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
But I think with fantasy, especially in the beginning or the first book, you really have to give it a chance with the world building and everything, because it does take a little while to build all of that up.
I was watching a video of Christine's like fantasy guide thing, and she's like, give it a second, and it's so true. You have to give fantasy books a second. Like it'll happen. Just give it time.
Just be patient. You can do it. There's payoff. Like, you have to be a little bit patient, but it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
At least for this series. Some of them, maybe not, but the series is in the end.
Yeah, this one, for sure.
This is a little, like, off topic, but what are, like, some of your favorite, like, YA high fantasy books? Because I mean, I don't read much. I think this one, Throne of Glass, and I think that might be so yeah,
it's my favorite
genre. But
it's my favorite genre, so
yeah, that I know it is.
What do you have for it, Kayla?
My like all-time favorite is the Girl of Fire and Thorn series by Ray Carson.
I have that first book.
It's so good. But I love fantasy. Let me look at my shelf. Hold on. Oh, well, obviously I love the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. So good. Yeah. And Eon and Iana. I don't know if you guys have ever read that.
Oh, the duology.
I have those.
Serafina. by Rachel Hartman.
I've always wanted that one. The one about dragons, right?
Yeah, it's really good. But what like we've talked about, you have to give it a second. You have to like get immersed in the world, and I feel like a little kid at Christmas right now. And obviously I love the Throne of Glass series. I had problems with Throne of Glass, but Crown of Midnight just like blew everything out of the water. I just loved it so much.
Yeah, I just finished Throne of Glass the other day, and it was good, but I wasn't like blown away. And I don't know if it was maybe overhyped in my, like, I just had really high expectations. Yeah. I don't know.
I had high expectations, and then it kind of reminded me of The Selection because of the way the plot was, and I didn't really, The Selection, well, guilty pleasure trilogy there, but Crown of Midnight was just so much more, like, it expanded the world and the romance, and I can't wait for Heir of Fire. I didn't get an arc of it yet, so.
Me too. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm thinking about Sarah J. Maas is doing like a signing here on Tuesday,
cool.
And yeah, I'm thinking cool. I should go. I think I'm going to.
She's coming to the LA area in like a week and a half. I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That one. I do have an arc of Heir of Fire, and it's actually what I was reading last night.
Oh, look at you being sneaky, keeping it from us.
I have an arc of Heir of Fire, but then I let a couple of my friends like read it, and I still haven't gotten it back yet.
Oh.
It's like a traveling book.
Shannon from Cozy Tea Reads had it, and she said she mailed it back to me, but that was like almost 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten it.
No.
I'm like, I hope it wasn't lost in the mail.
That's the signed one, right?
Yeah, it's my personalized signed one.
Oh, I hope it comes back.
That I waited 2.5 hours for.
Oh my gosh.
I'll just never forget. You saw me at the show and you're like, yeah, I waited 2.5 hours for this. I was like, I'm so sorry.
And the fact is, I still haven't read it, and it comes out like on Tuesday, and I'm like, I could have just waited.
Yeah.
But it was an experience. It was fine.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it.
What are your guys like? What do you recommend if you recommend YA fantasy? Like, what are your
Well,
favorites?
I just read one that no one knows about because like it's this book that then an author sent to me, but it's The Blood of the Dragon by Justin Glennon, and it was really, really good. And I'm like, I wish more people would read this because it's so good.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
I like the word dragon, so.
Lovers. I'm not sure if. Like if it's not, I don't think it's a great intro into fantasy. It's for people who love fantasy. You see what I'm saying?
So maybe I shouldn't. Like, so you're saying maybe I shouldn't.
It's very.
Maybe later on.
It's one of those books where the whole book, the person is like on a quest to go get something, and I know a lot of people don't like that, like because it can get kind of slow and monotonous when they're traveling the entire time. But I liked it.
I'll have to check that out because I like dragons. They're my thing.
Yeah. The main character is part dragon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The characters are awesome.
In like Seraphina, it's about a world where dragons walk among humans and like human form and stuff, and like there's there's conflict there between humans and dragons. Like I recommend it. I really do.
The sequel is coming out next year, right?
Yeah, Shadow Scale. So
hasn't it been a while since the first one?
Yeah, it makes me nervous because do I want to get it and read it right away?
I know.
And it'll be like forever until the next one.
Yeah.
I love how like authors normally come out with one book in a series each year, like at least it's not like years between. Like I think I'm gonna die before I get the 6th book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. But you know.
See, that's why I like marathoning. Like, I didn't even start this Grisha trilogy until the last book was out because I was like, I need.
Yeah, same.
I do that too. I wait until at least 2 or 3 books are out before I start a series. Usually, sometimes, except if it's a new release that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just read The Kiss of Deception. That's really good too. I really liked it.
Is it? I've been seeing it everywhere.
Yes, I really liked it. But the second book doesn't come out till next summer. What?
Is that like a fantasy one?
Yeah, I mean it's fantasy. Like I wouldn't say there's like a lot of like fantasy elements in it, but you can definitely tell it's fantasy. It's a different world, etc., etc. But the plot is just so good. you like just don't know. It's like a mystery too, and I really like that. You don't find that often. Like, I don't know. I highly recommend it.
I really liked Trial by Fire that's coming out soon, by Josephine Angelini.
Oh yeah.
She wrote the Star-Crossed series.
Yeah. She did.
Okay.
I haven't read that one yet.
It's kind of fantasy. It's weird because it's the beginning is in our world, but then it's a parallel universe. She goes into a parallel universe. So the parallel universe is kind of fantasy because it's a different world, and it's kind of has a whole medieval historical feel to it.
Cool.
But they also have like technology and like science discoveries. So it's like a weird mix between modern and like medieval.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was really cool.
I feel like I need to read more fantasy. Like, I don't have any recommendations to add. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have my books to look at, so this is so.
I need to read Dreams of Gods and Monsters.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
It's
I haven't
so
read it.
good.
Oh, it's the best.
It's so good.
Don't even get me started.
And I know it's like
I'm not over it.
It's like a huge book, but it's so worth it.
It is.
I just can't believe how like vast that universe is. Like it
I
blows
know.
my mind.
It blew my mind, especially the third. Like the books, just every single book was just the world was getting bigger and bigger, and my mind was like blown by the end of the third one.
Yeah,
So.
but it's the writing in that series that's incredible. Like I just love the writing so much. It's just so
I know,
beautiful.
and I just loved in the second book how it was like a prequel story mixed in with the present story.
Yeah.
That whole series is beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what else she writes. Like, I want her to come out with something else. There's this book that she has that I forgot the name of it, but I want to get it just because, like, she wrote it. I forgot the name right now.
Or the collection of short stories one?
Wait, what's the first one you said?
The fairy one. She has, like, the Fairies of Dreamdark series. There's only 2 books in it, though.
I'm not sure which one it was. I feel like it's the collection. I feel like it's the collection of stories.
The Lips Touch.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that's like 3 short stories that each focus around a kiss. It's a good one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I want to read that one. I wonder if she's going to come out with another series. Like, I need more from her.
I think that there was, like, hints in the third book about a spin-off series.
A spin-off, right?
That's spoilers.
Yeah.
But like you guys were just saying, the world continues to get so big and so big. Like, let's get another series in this world, please.
Yeah. There's definitely room for, like, more.
Oh, yeah.
All right, is there anything else that you want to discuss?
Are there, like, any more questions or anything?
Yeah, I haven't checked.
All right, let me check.
Because I'm getting kind of hungry.
Time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it over there, Cassidy?
8 or 7:52.
Okay, it's going to be 9 here.
Yeah, it's dinner time. It's really dinner time for Kat.
Yeah. At 6 o'clock, I don't know, I woke up really late.
It's like her coffee time. I guess that's it. I mean, I don't know.
Someone said that they thought the Darkling was madly in love with Alina's power, not her.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I can see that, but it also seemed like it was about her. Like, he wanted to just love her power, but he, like, started to develop feelings for the girl.
Yeah.
There's a question on here that says, would you want Leigh Bardugo to create more series like Cassandra Clare does in the same world?
I would read them.
Yeah, I would read them.
Yeah,
I would actually read like a prequel series too about the Darkling, like when he created the Fold. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is such a cool world, and there's so many like aspects we haven't explored. So.
Yeah.
Okay, who would win in a fight, Alina or Selena?
Well, does
What?
Elena have her powers, or
See, like in Throne of Glass, you never really get to see Selena really fight to her full capability.
Did you read Crown of Midnight yet, Cassidy?
No.
Okay,
No.
well.
She doesn't count that, but in Throne of Glass, she doesn't.
I don't know. That would be a tough one.
ability, but she's still like such a badass. Like
Mhm.
just her like physical abilities, like her archery, how she can hit that target right in the center. And when she's like scaling the building, trying to save the guy who's falling, whose name
Yeah. Yeah, especially at the end of Crown of Midnight, and I'm pretty sure Airfire, like there's some like things going on with her that I think she's gonna get pretty badass. So
Yeah, spoiler.
spoiler, I don't know.
Elena might win.
I think Selena just has more training too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she spent her entire life.
Yeah, she's a trained killer.
And she's willing to kill. Like Alina, she does kind of like leave some people to die, but Alina also is like not as willing to kill or as willing to like make that hard decision.
Yeah.
I think if it was a fight to the death, I don't know. Someone write some fanfic.
Fanfic.
It's so weird how their names sound alike.
Alina, yeah.
I think that someone should make like a fanfic of like all these badass characters in the Hunger Games.
Yes.
It'd be so awesome.
Okay, is that it? Because I know Cassidy's like really hungry over there.
It's okay. If you want to keep talking, I'll keep talking. I was just.
Someone says, I wish they talked about Genya. We did talk about Genya.
We did.
Her
I don't know why I called her Genja.
Questionable at times. But.
I don't even know what I called her. I just called her, hey, that girl over there. No, I'm just kidding.
I said Genja all the time. I don't know why.
I think I said Genya.
Okay.
Yeah. Genya, that's what I said.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Alright, I think that was good though.
Yeah.
We discussed all the things.
All
the things. This was really fun, guys.
Yeah,
I know it was.
We'll have to do it again for the dress.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's it. Do not forget.
All right. Well,
All right.
see you guys later.
Yep, see
Yeah.
ya.
Talk to you guys. Talk to you
Bye,
on Twitter.
everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
To our 25 people that stuck to the end. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.